About a week later, then the orders came through, and my orders were to report to San Bruno, California, to I think they call it Advanced Base Personnel Depot, and then they sent the train ticket to go to Chicago, and then from there to California. So I'm thinking about it, and I thought, gee, I don't want to be spending the rest of the war on some little godforsaken island out in the Pacific. So I thought, well, maybe I'm going to try and get my orders changed. So on my way home.
What did you think that meant? Did that mean to you that Advanced Base Personnel Depot? Did that kind of mean to you that you're going to be sent to an island to fight something, or?
Well, maybe it's already been occupied by us.
Okay.
Well, anyway, whatever it was, I didn't like the sound of it. Whatever it was, so on the way, let's see, there was the Pennsylvania Railroad we went, and the train went to Philadelphia, Washington, and then to Pittsburgh and Chicago. So
were you all packed in there really tight, or did you have a bed or
yeah,
just a seat?
We had a
Pullman car, or
yeah, a berth, yeah,
berth.
Yeah. So I got off at Washington at the Union Station there, and decided to go to the Navy Department. So well, that was when the Navy Department, the Navy was in the Navy Department. Now they're in the Pentagon, which is a huge, I'd probably get lost there. Probably people that work there get lost. So I thought, well, I'm going to go to the amphibious section and see if I can get on another ship out there, so I won't be stuck on some little island. So when I got to this one department there and told them what I wanted, and they said, "Oh yeah, well, glad to see you. Hey, we see you only got 20 days leave. Would you like 30?"
No.
Yeah. So I said, "Sure, we'll change your order. So we'll send you your new orders and your train ticket and everything else." So I went back to I decided to, well, I'm here, I'm going to check and see if Goodrich said anything bad about me, because the officers, I don't know if they still do, but twice a year they turn in fitness reports on the officers, and I wanted to know if because of my run-in with him, if he'd, give me an unfavorable report there. And so, that was a different department. So they said, well, we can't let you see the thing, but we can tell you though that there's nothing unfavorable in your records there, in your file. Okay, great. So I went back to the train station, and I got another train around 6 o'clock that night. I got to Chicago the next day. So.
And you didn't get your orders changed at that time then?
No, not then.
You just got the leave extended.
Yeah, but then about a week later, I got the new orders to report, instead of San Bruno, California, which is right outside of San Francisco, to go to Coronado, California.
How did you get the orders while you were en route? Did they mail them to you? Or?
Yeah, they mailed it to my home in Chicago.
Oh, so they knew you were going to be there.
Yeah.
During leave.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I told them, I said, I'll be spending most of the time, most if not all the time there at my home there. So,
okay.
Yeah. So that was, Coronado is just it's a part of San Diego. So, and there was an big amphibious base there. There was one amphibious base at Norfolk and one out there at San Diego. So, So I had to go there to well, it was a personnel depot there for ships, though, amphibious ships there. So. Yeah, I think Wheaton had their homecoming there, and I went out there for the football game that time in September of '44.
You went to Wheaton.
The homecoming.
Homecoming, yeah.
Yeah, and they had all us guys in uniform get out there and march there down the field there. I was a JG by that time.
Okay. When did you become JG?
What is JG?
Lieutenant junior grade.
That's a good thing?
Well, it's higher than ensign.
When did you get that promotion?
It was like automatic. About 11 or 12 months after I was commissioned.
Okay.
I was in England, yeah.
Okay.
And they call them all-nav. That's a Navy bulletin that comes out every month there. And here it wasn't here. Everybody who was commissioned and ensign before such and such a date, effective such and such a date, you're promoted to Lieutenant JG.
So you're a JG by the time or you got your orders.
Well, I was a JG at Normandy.
Yeah.
By that time
Yeah.
I was a JG too. Yeah. But that's just a little quarter-inch stripe that you add to your the 1-inch stripe. But hey, it looked mighty big at times. Because, hey, all those people are rank conscious, believe me.
Checking his arm.
So the train, I remember we went through, I think when we left Chicago, we were on the Rock Island out of the South Street station. And
Well, before, anything in your memories about your visit home at that time? Were you surprised about anything, or everything seemed just the way you remembered it?
Yeah, well, they were glad to. I had a ration of gasoline and meat and stuff like that, and butter, I think. So they were glad to get that.
Okay.
Well, there was all rationed during the war.
So you could get some treats for the family then.
Yeah, well, I just turned over my allotment to my mother and the gasoline to my dad. So.
All right. And where were they living at this time?
They were at the Lydia home.
Lydia home. Okay.
Yeah.
At Irving Park in Kildare.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. So we took the train and we went down through Rock Island. It's Rock Island, Illinois. That's where it gets the name. Then it winds its way down into Texas, New Mexico, and back into El Paso, Texas. I remember getting off the train at El Paso there, and then it went directly west from there, New Mexico and Arizona, and into San Diego.
Remember the scenery at all on that trip?
Well, the first part, it was, through Illinois and Missouri, and that was just flat country, so there's not much. Yeah. But I remember at El Paso there were mountains there, though. Yeah. But then, after west of there, it's mostly like desert-like, like Arizona. So wound up at the base there at Coronado, and had to check in each day, and see if they had an assignment for you, a ship or anything like that. So I was all set to go up. I was there about 2 weeks, I guess. And I was going to go, I'd never been to LA, so I was all set to go up to LA for a weekend there. And then that Friday, I got orders to report to the LSM 72. LSM was a new type of ship, landing ship medium, which was about 2/3 the size of an LST. And that was a miserable experience.
Before you go into that, on the train ride through the desert, was it really hot? No air conditioning, or was there air conditioning? Was it Do you remember being really hot and stifling, or it was winter time anyway, wasn't it?
No, it was
So-
September.
September. Okay.
September or, well, maybe 1st of October even. Yeah, maybe 1st of October there, yeah. So no, it wasn't bad.
Okay. Okay.
At least I don't remember suffering.
And why, going back to the LSM, why was that a miserable experience?
Well, because the LST, you had a room, either a room to yourself or you had one roommate there, like a cabin. And the LSM, everybody was all in one place there. You didn't have the space like you had on the. And besides, I outranked the executive officer on there, and but he gave the orders. So it was just a screwed up mess. And the guy that I relieved, I don't know if he got sick or whatever, or didn't show up or whatever it was. The skipper also had a new skipper. The previous one, I don't know if he, like I said, I don't know if he got sick or whatever, and he was the one that the new one. He was the lieutenant commander, and he'd been a skipper of an LST out in the Pacific, even a division commander out in the Pacific, and here they put him in command of an LSM, and boy, he was teed off.
I bet.
Yeah, and he saw my predicament too. So he said, "Don't worry." He said, "When we get to Pearl Harbor, he said, I'll take care of it."
What was your role on the LSM?
I was just an officer. Maybe I stood watches, but then I don't know if they gave me communications or gunnery or what. I don't remember. But the main thing I had to do was to stand my 4 on and 8 off watch, regular watch there. So we finally got to Pearl Harbor, and the new skipper there, he left the ship the first day to go ashore, and he came back and he said, "I got it all squared away." He said, "You're getting off just like me." So
He got off too.
yeah. So we went to the got detached from the thing and went to the BOQ, Bachelor's Officers Quarters there, and
Which you had been to before.
huh?
Had you been there before, or you've been to Hawaii before?
I've been to Hawaii before, but not while I was in the Navy.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So then I was there to wait for a new assignment, just pot luck. So.
How did he get you off the LSM?
He told the powers that be, this is a screwed up mess here. Well, the exec officer, he'd been on the ship ever since it was commissioned, so he knew the workings of the ship and all the personnel and everything. So I didn't begrudge him that or anything like that, but he shouldn't be having a guy that's outranks him under him. So. And the skipper, of course, he was fit to be tied. Well, like I told you, of his experience previously. So we were both glad to get off the thing there. So I was there a few days, and then one day I got orders there to report to the LST 930 as exec officer. I got some transportation to wherever the 930 was, and I went aboard late in the afternoon, and I think it's in one of those logs there about my reporting aboard there. But they put it down there. But gee, I got aboard that ship, and I thought, my goodness, this thing looks brand new. I've never seen anything so clean in my life.
And was it new?
It had been newly painted, I guess, so... I think in that hurricane, I think it took a beating there, and a lot of the paint
in the Atlantic.
In the Atlantic, and so it went from I think it went from New York to Norfolk, and then Norfolk to Guantanamo, and then it hit that hurricane, the one that when I was on the Queen,
Right,
that we missed out on, yeah. But I guess according to what they said, it stripped a lot of the paint off the thing. It was so strong.
Wow.
Yeah. At least that's what they told me. I wasn't aboard. So. But anyway, that thing was so clean and brand new. I couldn't believe it. So, but all the officers, except for the OOD, was the only one aboard there. All the others got ashore. So then I found out it's a hospital ship there. Finally, I met one of the doctors that evening. I remember.
What was your assignment? What assignment were you given?
Huh?
What assignment were you given for that ship?
Exec officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Something happened to the one there. I don't. They never talked about it. I don't know why he was relieved and was discharged from the ship. I don't know, but there were stories that one time he was up on the bridge there and he backed out into the channel there, and there was a ship coming by there, and he disregarded it, and the ship rammed him, and it was his fault. But I don't know. But nobody wanted to talk about it, and so I didn't pursue it. But except for the captain and the engineering officer, who were lieutenants, full lieutenants, all the other officers were except for the doctors, all the other officers were ensigns. So I fit in the right slot. So, but that was a nice job, because Grabowski did my job as well as his own. He was the captain.
And did you get along with him well?
Yeah. He was a Mustang and a good guy.
What's a Mustang?
A former enlisted man. So they did that to quite a few of them. Chief quartermasters, chief signalmen, chief something or other, chief petty officers, and they offered them a commission and then they trained them to become commanding officers of LSTs or LSMs or whatever. So, yeah, but he'd been a quartermaster. Well, the Navy quartermaster is the guy up on the bridge there. In the Army, the quartermaster is the guy in charge of supplies. So, the only thing about Grabowski, he was a terrific ship handler, and he ran a good ship. I mean, he was not overly strict, but he didn't try to get away with anything. But he murdered the English language, though. He tried to use words that what is that? Malapropism or spoonerisms. No, I can still remember some of them.
Did he do it intentionally, or was
No, I don't think so. I remember one day another ship. We were moored. I don't remember what place it was even. Another LST pulled up alongside of us and tied up to us. So we were up on the bridge there, and we had one signalman. His name is Red Hoy. I mean, Red was his nickname. So Grabowski said to him, "Hey, Red, go next door and ask the commanding officer incoherently if he'll have lunch with me tomorrow."
Incoherent. What was he meaning to say?
Nonchalantly.
I'm like, yeah, I was trying to figure out too.
At least I guess that's what he meant.
Yeah. Incoherently.
Another time, I think it was in Manila, when you're mooring, you take bearings there to get your exact location there. And, you use some kind of a landmark there. That's also on the chart there. Okay, take a bearing on that there. Take a bearing on that there. Yeah, D's and Dem. He was one of them guys. Yeah. Take a bearing on that there halo over there. Halo. Looking around up there, what the hell does he mean? A halo? The place where you put the hay. At a silo.
Oh.
Where was he from?
Detroit.
Oh, that's funny.
Pollock from Detroit. Yeah, there were a few others. But
I guess it does make so that would be a good name for those things.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, a place where you put the hay. But so when we used to make inspections of the ship, he'd say I would accompany him, and the yeoman, yeoman was like the secretary, right? Write everything down that needed to be done. There's a little bit rust here, he had to write it down and whatever. Let's turn around and do this and go ahead and do that. That was his favorite. Let's turn around and do this and go ahead and do that. So then we had maneuvers there in Hawaii and Maui and we never landed on the Big Island. We sailed by it quite a few times there. But then when we finally loaded up Marines there, this would be in January of '45, and I forgot what date. It might be in those logs there, but I don't remember. But and I remember one day I'm walking down the street in Honolulu, and some stranger comes up to me out of the blue sky. Are you going to Okinawa too? It's top secret. That they used to say loose lips sink ships, but are you going to Okinawa too?
Was this a native that asked this, or was it?
No, another Navy officer of some kind. And I said, yeah, I'm going there, but I got another stop first. I mean, we knew that we were going to Iwo and then Okinawa after that one, if we survived.
Did you know at this point that you were going to Iwo?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, I told him, I'm going to Okinawa, but I've got another stop first. So we, you got out there and it's endless water out in the Pacific there between those little islands there. I think that our first stop after Hawaii was Inuiatak in the Marshall Islands, and I think it took us 12 days. Yeah. Well, the thing was slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. We go 10, 11 miles, 12 miles an hour. That's about it. So because of the bow there, that blunt bow that they had on the LSDs, and it was almost flat bottom there. They were slow, not like the Queen. So we were in Inuiatak for a day or two. We loaded, took on water and fresh water, that is, and fuel, and then went on to the next stop was Saipan in the Marianas. It didn't take quite as long, and then from there, next stop was Iwo Jima.